Okay, for those of you who just joined us, thank you so much for being here. I know that there's so many other things that you guys could be doing, and I'm pretty sure everybody is swamped as far as the things that they have to do at the office, but you guys chose to be here with us and to join us. And I'm glad that you guys did, because we do have a special treat for you guys. We do have a special guest today that will be sharing with you guys his experience with their mobile fundraising campaign. So that's great. We also have our very own CEO, David Ashheim, who will be here on the call sharing his stories with all of the clients that we've worked with in the past and his experience with mobile fundraising. So that's going to be great content as well. I'll go ahead and start. If you guys have any questions, a few things to keep in mind. There is a chat box on the bottom left or the bottom right of your screen. Feel free to ask your questions there, write them there. We do have a question and answer portion during this presentation towards the end. You could save it for that as well. If you do want to speak up, be sure to unmute yourself, because I have most of you guys on mute. So let me go ahead and begin. Today's presentation is going to be about how to build a successful mobile fundraising campaign. Just to give you guys an overview or a background about our company, we've worked with about 2,500 mobile clients. Our parent company, Guide Buy Sell, does provide thousands of organizations with mobile solutions, from audio tours to mobile websites to scavenger hunts on the mobile device and stuff like that. And we do provide mobile fundraising, and that's another division of our company. We are now one of the largest authorized provider by the Mobile Giving Foundation. We are BBB accredited with the Business Bureau, and we do have an A+ rating. So just to give you guys an idea of what we're going to be going over today, here are the topics that we are going to discuss. You will hear from our special guest, and he will share with you his experience and what they did with their mobile fundraising campaign, and they've had great success. They just had an event recently. He will share that with you guys. Our CEO, David Ashton, will share with you guys specific trends that we're seeing in the mobile fundraising space that they're using that's creating success for their campaigns. We'll also share with you guys real-world examples of how to promote your mobile fundraising campaign and what other organizations have done to ensure success for their campaign. So I would like to introduce you guys to our special guest. Dick King is the co-founder and the director of sponsorship for the Tech Awards Technology. They just had an event, as I mentioned, and he will be sharing with us their experience on that event and what made it so successful. So, Dick, were you able to access the presentation? Or
well, I'm happy to just talk. For some reason it keeps going in and out. It was connected for a bit. Now it says it's disconnected, and so anyway, I don't need to really see anything. Happy to chat. Yeah, I am a very.
Go ahead. Sorry.
That's all right. So I'm a very enthusiastic Give Buy Sell customer. Although I should point out, from the outset that we use the system exclusively for a fundraising gala, fundraising campaign during a gala each year, and we've done so the last couple of years with increasing success. So I can't really speak about ongoing fundraising or other applications that Give Buy Sell can do, but in terms of our use of it during our event, it's been fabulous. And we tried some other vendors prior to a couple of years ago, and we find that a couple of main things that we love about mobile cars. Give Buy Sell. One is that it's very reasonably priced. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that we collect the pledges that are made. Some of the other services will do the collection for you, but because of that, they often will charge a percentage of the amount collected, and so on and so forth. So it gets pretty expensive. With Pledge Buy Sell, we get these pledges during our gala. This last time, which was just a couple of weeks ago, we generated over 200 pledges. The night of the gala, we raised $63,000. That was up from, I think, $48,000 the previous year and up from 18,000 the year before that. So we're making steady improvement, and we only take about 10 to 15 minutes for this segment of our gala, and as I say, generated $63,000. So it's fabulous. So that's one of the things that we really like about it, is the very reasonable cost. The other thing we like about it is their ability to customize the screen for us, and they've done that each year, again, for a very reasonable price. They've been really great to work with, because we have had some technical issues, not at the give by sell level, but with our AV company during the gala. Somehow the translation of what was prepared by Pledge by Sell didn't translate through the projector that was used at the gala. So the first year we did have some font size issues and so on. This last time it worked. Sharon, the lady that worked with us, did a great job and was in touch and worked with the AV people to make sure that when the screens were projected on during the gala, they were exactly perfect, so that the person that we had making the pitch had all the information behind him, could refer to it. We saw a scrolling list of all the donors. We saw the thermometer increase, and again, for a very, very reasonable price. So we're very, very happy.
Yeah. So that's awesome, Dick. Now, can you share because most of the people on this call probably are still trying to consider using it, or doesn't really know if this is a fit for them and stuff like that. Can you take us back to the beginning when you guys were trying to decide on trying to even go the mobile fundraising route? How was that like? How many people were involved politically? Were people ready for it? Did you have to enroll a lot of your team to do it? How would that work? And think of it as, these are people who are still trying to convince their coworkers or their upper management. How was that for you?
Sure. Well, this whole thing started many, many years ago. We have had this major fundraising gala for many years. And for the initial few years, we thought that we didn't want to ask the people at the event to give additional money. This is a fairly high-end event. To put it in perspective, we raised, including the $63,000 during the night, we raised over $2.7 million the night of the gala here a couple of weeks ago. So it's a big deal. So the reason I bring that up is because most of the $2.7 million is paid through sponsorships and table sales. We had 1,320 people at this event, so it's a big event. And so people are paying for tables anywhere from $10,000 all the way up to our presenting sponsor that gives us over $500,000 every year to be the presenting sponsor. So, the people that are at the event, or at least the sponsors that are at the event, already have spent significant dollars. So we were very hesitant for many years to add on top of that a fundraising component at the actual event. But then we got to thinking that, the reality is that yes, the sponsors have paid a lot, and they've already done their thing, but most of the guests, who again are guests of sponsors at their tables, haven't spent a penny. I mean, they got invited to sit at the table, they got to come to this black tie beautiful event, and it didn't cost them a cent. So we thought, well, there's a lot of money in the room that we can tap. So we decided to do a fundraising. And I think the initial year or two, we decided to do the old style of make a pitch from the podium, have people fill out either pledge or contribution forms at the table. We go around and collect them, and it was a very minor success rate, because trying to ask people to fill out a card, it's dark, they're trying to see their credit card numbers and all this kind of stuff. It just didn't work. And that compounded by the fact that we are, after all, the tech museum of innovation, we thought, we've got to we got to use technology for this. It's stupid to be still trying to have people fill out, print cards out in the dark. So I think the leadership of the tech, quickly saw that we needed to find a technological solution to this challenge. Once we'd made the commitment to do a fundraising at the event, then it was just a matter of identifying the different vendors and companies that can provide technology solutions, and we talked to many of them. A lot of them are very focused on more of an auction kind of a fundraising, where people have paddles or they have bidding numbers, and There's some wonderful auction systems out there, but this is not an auction. This is strictly an appeal for donations or pledges. So again, we tried another vendor here a few years ago, and that was modestly successful, but we didn't. It was very expensive, and we thought there's got to be a better way. Then we found Give by Sell, much more reasonable, and we actually like collecting the pledges ourselves. Yes, it's a lot of work. I don't deny that, but it gives us a chance to actually talk with our donors, and that's much better than some anonymous voice on the phone collecting a pledge. So
Sure.
I'd say that's sort of the process we went through.
So just so you know, while you're speaking, since you can't see our screen, I'm actually showing some of the beautiful pictures you sent us of your events, and I'm just scrolling through them, showing it to our guests for this presentation. So it looks like you guys did a live call to action. I think a lot of times, and that's one of the topics that we'll be discussing today, is a lot of times other organizations, they do several methods of promoting their fundraising. So walk us through on the promotion side. How did you guys promote this fundraising event? During the event, how did you guys ensure that you promoted it so that people knew what to do and participated and you kept them engaged? Because these are great pictures, and I see that you guys had this huge screen where you had the screencast. I know at any live event that's such a big factor.
Right. So I think there's a couple things I would say about that. Number one is we didn't used to do this. So people that have been coming to this event for many years, it's taken a couple of years for them to get used to the fact that we're going to ask them for money at the gala. So we do that by, sort of subtly saying when we confirm their attendance or confirm their sponsorship, we say things like, be sure and bring your cell phone, or you'll be given a chance to support the tech during the event, that kind of thing. So we try to emphasize to them that ahead of time that this is going to happen. Even with that, many, many people come to the event and have no idea that this is going to happen. They might be a first-time attendee and so on. So during the event, we talk about it, and then we talk a little bit about it. It's in the printed program that there's going to be an opportunity. The instructions on how to pledge are in the printed program as well as eventually up on the screen. But so anybody that's looking through the program will know that that's coming up. But really the critical element is having the right person make the pitch. And whether people in the audience know that it's coming or not, the key is having a very passionate mission moment where the person making the pitch gets their attention, engages them in feeling the need to give, and then showing them. Now, the nice thing about this is that, as you can see in the pictures, by putting up on the screen the instructions and the thermometer and everything, the person making the pitch can turn and look at that and say, now, this fellow that made the pitch this year, his name is Shamir Patel. He actually, DJ Patel, he actually, pulled out his own phone, actually made a pledge right from the stage. That's very, very, very important that you have and the other big benefit of this to me is that it's a time-specific thing and it's time-limited. While people in theory could be making pledges any time during the evening, before or after the pitch, the reality is that the 99.9% of the pledges come in those 5 to 10 minutes that we devote to this. And that's actually very helpful, because if you ask people to do something on the way out that night or be sure and do something tomorrow, the reality is they're not going to do it. They're going to do it at that moment because that's when they're inspired, and that's very, very, very important to this kind of an effort. You have a very time-specific and time-limited opportunity, and make it super easy. This technology is incredibly simple. They text in, they put in the number, they text in the amount of money they want to give, and then they put their name and hit send. Bingo! It's taken them 15 seconds, and they're done.
All right. Now, it's interesting to me that, we do offer, like you mentioned earlier, we do offer services where we could actually process the payment right on the spot. Because you did bring up a great point, whereas if you wait for later, they mail it in or they do it later, sometimes they won't, right? They won't follow through. So we do have this option where it actually processes the payment for you on the spot, but you chose to do mobile pledge. Now, what was the value in that, or what helped you make that decision so that, people on the call today could kind of learn from that?
Right. So that's a good question, and I neglected to mention. I should mention this, that even though yes, all we ask for is a pledge, we actually do collect that night, and we have tables set up as people leave, and we emphasize to them you can fulfill your pledge on your way out tonight by just going to the table and giving us your credit card. So we actually collect over 200 pledges. We actually collected, I think, over 60 or 70 of those on the way out. That was a huge help. But again, it does provide us with a face-to-face interaction with the donor, which is a nice thing. We've decided not to. We've decided to stick with just the pledging because the process of actually making a payment on your credit card or through PayPal or something, it can be done. Obviously, you can pull out your credit card and punch that in and so on and do it, or you can have a PayPal account and pay it that way. We just have felt that the pledging is so much quicker and so much easier that we've stuck with that.
Got it. So now there's another big topic out there that I think it's very good for our people to hear right now. One of the biggest questions is about signage, right? You guys chose to do screencasting with some instructions. Now tell me, did you guys have printouts or signage throughout your event that would give them instructions or to promote it? Or did you guys do mailers? Walk us through that.
Yeah, again, as I mentioned earlier, we did have it printed in the printed program. So everybody who walks in gets a printed program. And in there, very clear, it's the same instructions that you see up on the screen are actually in the printed program, so they can refer to that as well as looking up at the screen. That's the signage that we have. We don't have any other printed signage because, again, it's such a huge event, 1,320 people. They wouldn't see the signs anyway. So.
Got it. Okay, cool. So I think thank you so much for sharing your experience. One last thing is, if you, knowing what you know now, right, about mobile fundraising and how to do it, how to start it, what's your one advice or that word of wisdom to the people who are still thinking of or on the fence or wanting to find out if this is for them? What would your message be for them?
Well, I would say, if you're going to do it, you got to do it right. So make sure that it's a full-fledged commitment, and that includes finding the right person to make the ask. That, of course, as we all know in fundraising, is absolutely critical. You don't raise any money if you don't have the right person asking. So, secondly, make sure that it's communicated well during the event. As I say, we use both the printed program and the on-screen. And then have a fairly specific thing. This year, what we were asking was for people to support our hands-on labs in the museum for Title I disadvantaged kids. It's much better than just saying, "Oh yeah, please, text in a pledge to support the museum," or text in to support the Tech Awards or something. It's too general. You have to have a very specific thing. People want to give to a specific thing, and so we actually restrict this money to help pay for the labs that we have in the museum, and we have about 120,000 kids a year take these labs. So, and a half of those are from Title I schools. So it's very important that we get those funded in order to make them free to those kids.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dick. Now, I want to open this up for some questions for Dick before he finishes his portion of the presentation. I do see some questions coming up from Amber. Was your thermometer updating in real time?
Yeah, it's fabulous. As the minute, I don't know, it's within seconds of when the pledge is made, when the text is received by the system, it posts not only the name, if they put a name, some people don't put a name, or they put anonymous or something, and the amount on the right-hand side of the screen, and then the thermometer is posted real time. I should add, and I don't want to add a negative note to this, but it is real, and that is we have actually had, in each of the last 2 years, we've had a couple of false pledges one of the things is sort of humorous, although it causes pulled our hair out. The guy making
Yeah.
the pitch said, "Yeah, all you need to do is come on, pledge $2 million, and we'll make go way over our goal. I mean, our goal was $75,000. So somebody in the audience actually put in $2 million. So of course the thermometer shot through the roof. And we had somebody monitoring the pledges, and fortunately caught that within, I'm going to say, 15 to 20 seconds, and deleted that pledge, so the thermometer went back down to the real level. And we also had, unfortunately, another problem with a false pledge that took it higher than it should have been. But so the key to that is to have somebody with a hawk eye watching the pledges at real time at a computer at the event, so they can delete any false pledges, because and my understanding from Give by Sell, and Dave, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but is that you have rarely, if ever, had that problem, and yet for some reason in the heart of Silicon Valley, here we are in San Jose, California, we got idiots putting in the wrong numbers. I mean, figure that out.
So just so you know, Dick, just so you know, that was a big topic with us in our engineering team, because they are creating a way to block that type of donation.
Great.
So we'll discuss that in a later date. Let's take another question here. It says here, if someone pledges on the spot, how do you collect on the spot, and how long does that take the donor? I think they're asking about your collection. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we have tables set up at the exits. We use the same tables that we use for registration when people come in, so they know where they are. So, and we announce from the stage several times during the evening, if you'd like to fulfill your pledge tonight, just go to the pledge tables on your way out of the event. And we have it staffed by many people with laptops, and they have charge card readers, so they just zip to the card. We ask obviously for their information, because at that point all we have is the amount they want to pledge and maybe a first name. So we obviously need to get their information in order to run the credit card. They need the name and the credit card number and stuff like that, and then they just zip it through the reader, and they're on their way. So I would say the question is, how long does it take? I wasn't there. I was busy doing other things, but it's no more than a minute or two for sure that it takes for somebody to check out. And we have a number of people staffing the table, so that even if like 10 people walk up, they get out of there in a couple of minutes.
Sure. Okay. One last question before we let you go. It says here, how do you receive the donor's information so that the pledges can be booked and ultimately gift? I think that was answered by your answer right now. They were asking how you receive the donor information.
Yeah, well, in the checkout the night of the gala, that's how we do it. Of course, again, I said that was around 60 of the 200 pledges, so that still left us 140 pledges to collect. And we immediately got on the phones the next day. We divide them up among our staff. And so because you got to remember, all we have is a cell phone number, an amount of money, and maybe a first name. That's what we have. So obviously we don't have any credit card information or anything else like that. So what you do is you call them and you say, hey, thanks for attending the gala last night or last week, whatever it is you're talking to them. If they answer and they're willing to talk, then we try to get them to give us their credit card information right over the phone. And I would say 70% of the people that we're calling do that. They're happy to do it. They remember making the pledge. They want to fulfill it. They give you the credit card information over the phone, and we have a form and fill it all out and submit it to our finance department to make the charge. The other 30% or so of the people that we call say, oh, well, can I pay online or can I pay through PayPal? And, of course, we have all those possibilities as well. So we say, well, give me your email address, and I'll send you the instructions on how to do that. So we may not get the information on the call, but then we send them an email and give them the different options of the way they can pay it. And the collection rate is very, very high. I think last year of the 48,000 that was pledged the night of the gala, we ended up writing off about, I think it was about $500, between $400 and $500. Because these are people that just absolutely never answered their phone, never responded. We didn't know who they were, and so we had to write it off. This year we're still in the process, but we've already collected, I think, of the 63,000, we've collected over 80% of that now. We still have a few people that we're trying to get a hold of, or people that have said, "Hey, I'll just mail you a check," and so we say fine, but we maybe haven't gotten the check yet. But I expect the collection rate to be again in the way high 90%, up around 97, 98%, I would guess.
Got it. So that's a great ending to it, because that answered the other question that came in right after I said last question. Thank you so much, Dick, for being on this call with us. If you guys get a chance, be sure to thank him. Dick King, he is, again, this information is on the screen right now, so thank you so much. I'll go ahead and continue with the rest of the presentation. Dick, you are more than welcome to stay on the call with us, just so you could hear the rest of the presentation. And thank you again so much for being on the call.
Yeah, I'll probably hang on for a few minutes and just hear what you're saying, and then I'll probably just say goodbye at that point. But I'll stay on for a little bit.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, sure. So that was such a great information that Dick shared with us, and we appreciate him so much for doing so. So I'll go ahead and continue. How to make a mobile fundraising campaign successful. So this is a cute little slide that we and my team added there because we thought that it would be fun to kind of show you guys what not to do. So there's a big warning sign saying that mobile giving is not for you if you passively promote it like this. Let's see if it'll actually show. There you go. So basically, we wanted to show this. I think a lot of the misconception there is that if they have a mobile fundraising campaign, right, and they just printed out some kind of sheet or some kind of information about it, and then they put it on the shelf or in a brochure or displayed it somewhere that doesn't really get enough traffic or visibility, they think that it would still work. What we've seen in the past is it doesn't work out that way. With any type of fundraising, right, and I'm sure you guys in the call have done one type of fundraising or another type of fundraising, if you don't promote it correctly, like Dick was saying earlier, that if you don't have the right person making the ask or promoting it or, sharing it with people, then it's not as effective as if you were promoting it the right way. So I thought I would just put that short screen there. And at this time, I would like to bring in, or before I bring our CEO to go over some of the real-world example, I wanted to go over a few things with you guys. If you guys are in the process of thinking whether the mobile fundraising is for you, before you even begin, there's a few things that you should definitely think about. And I've written some of them down for you. You definitely want to know who your demographic is. What will get them to respond? Where's the strongest sense of community? Is it on your email database? Is it on your social media followers? Is it when you do your mailers? Is it a huge event? You kind of need to know who your audience is and what will get them to respond and where they are. Is it on your website? Do you have more people visiting your website to do this? Any special events or holidays coming up? This is a big one, especially since we are around the holiday times, right? For some, this is probably the biggest fundraising time for their organization because they get most of their fundraising done towards the end of the year. So you definitely want to look into that. I know Giving Tuesday was yesterday, and we've had a lot of our clients participate in that, so that's great. Maybe next year, if it's something that you guys missed out on this year, maybe it's something that you guys want to prepare for next year. As saying earlier, be clear about the mission and the goal that you guys are and what you guys are asking your sponsors to do. Sometimes when you just say, hey guys, text the word donate to 56512 to make a donation, that's not as passionate as saying, hey guys, we're on a mission to build ... We're on a mission to feed, 50 million kids or whatever that number is. And this is how you can help. Be a part of our mission, be a part of our goal. At that point, instead of them just giving money, you're inviting them to be part of your mission and your goal, to be a partner in that. So I think that makes such a huge difference, being clear and concise as possible. So before I go to the next screen and show you guys the 9 successful trends that we've been seeing that a lot of organizations are implementing. I'd like to bring in David Asheim, our very own CEO. I think he's on the call. I want to bring him because he can share very insightful information about this topic. He's talked to a lot of our clients. He shared stories with them. He did a lot of brainstorming with them. So he has great information about this. Dave, are you on the call with us?
I am. Can you hear me, Catherine?
Yes, I can. Hi.
Okay, great. Hello, hello.
So I'll go ahead and go to
All
the next
right.
screen, Dave.
Yeah, and we have probably 30 or 40 slides in this deck, and we're not going to get to them today, all of them, but if you want to make a note by sending Catherine an email, she will send you a link to the screen share or a PowerPoint as well. So, Catherine, if you just want to drop your email address, there it is. Mm-hmm. And we're going to try to wrap this up in maybe 5 or 10 minutes because people are so busy. But the point I want to make, and it really reiterates what Catherine was saying, when we started Give by Sell about 6 years ago, we thought that just because we were giving people a very easy way to donate, that it would just open up the floodgates and basically solve many of the problems with encouraging new donors. And we tried this at a Boston Red Sox game, and they put a big message on the screen, and they only raised $100. Then the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library in Springfield had a rack card. They only raised a couple $100. So all of a sudden, we started realizing, just because we're making it easy does not mean that there's enough of an ROI in the donor's mind that they want to donate. So it was really a big change in the way we thought about mobile giving. And we tell all of our clients, and I think we've got 3,000 clients now, unless you do what Dick did and have somebody up on stage promoting it with a thermometer and a live screen, or you do one of these things on this list, you make it fun, you give them some incentive, you create a little game, some personal live call to action. If you don't do one of those things and it's just passive, you'll make back your money on the fees that it cost, but it's not going to be the blockbuster that you're thinking. So if you have an organization where you don't have events, where you don't have someone that can promote it, or you're not going to really actively promote it on social media, and it's just going to sit there, then the only reason you should do mobile giving is because you want it as an emergency in case you have a flood, a fire, you're trying to raise relief money. We do have plenty of clients that really don't promote it at all during the year, but it's there in case it's like their insurance policy. But the worst thing you can do is come to a company like ours, sign up for a $5 or a $10 auto donation thing, and then not really actively promote it. If you've got it, doesn't mean that it's going to work. You've got to really market it. Catherine, a plug for Catherine, she holds monthly webinars showing best practices on how to do this. So if you end up working with us, then you get the benefit of Catherine, who's talked to thousands of clients about what's working and what's not working. Okay, Catherine, let's go through these pretty fast. So everybody, hold on. We're just going to make these quick and fast. Adding an email address. Here's Lehigh College on the left. You can text in the word Lehigh and add your email address to enter a contest, sign up for their email, do something. That is very good for the organization. They get the email address, and people like participating in some kind of a challenge. All right. We talked about this. This was done at the Bay Area Discovery Museum. We saw the screenshots of Dick. So if you have a live event, having a screen helps a tremendous amount. Try to make your fundraising game-like or a little competitive. If it's a school, it could be one school versus the other. If it's a department, it could be two different departments. Something that creates a little game. It could be a text message game. Answer these 4 questions about our charity, and then at the end it drops you a link where you can make a donation. Incentives and raffle. This is the Jimmy Fund, which is part of Dana-Farber in Cambridge in Massachusetts. They came up with a way where a van would travel around with beach balls and all kinds of different events where you could text in to A, donate, and B, guess the number of beach balls for a big prize. This was very successful in getting PR and getting press. We learned a lot about the participation level, and it just proves that if you can have more active things going on, a reason to donate, or I didn't know that this charity is solving this problem, then you'll have a much greater success. Here's a live call to action that Catherine and Dick talked about. Celebrity endorsements can be very powerful, and a celebrity does not have to be Beyonce. It could be your local mayor. It could be a famous scientist. It could be somebody that's a local radio personality. It doesn't have to be somebody really, really big, but somebody that is an expert or is well known, and if they tweet, if they make a posting, if they do a little video or even an audio, it's just one more thing that's helping somebody say, you know what, that is an important cause. I am going to help American Cancer Society, and Johnny Dawkins is a guy that I know, and that's one more bridge to making a donation. So celebrities in that way can be powerful. Social media, if done right, can also be powerful. When organizations have people that are a little bit famous, send a tweet out, for example, always either a couple $100 or a couple $1,000 comes in. So combining social media and celebrities has been helpful. Just in general, making it known that you got this opportunity to give is something that social media is really the vehicle, especially for a younger audience. Catherine, why don't you talk a little bit about these web widgets?
Yeah, web widget. A lot of the organizations we work with definitely have audience that are used to going to their websites already, right? So the web widget is actually pretty cool because what it does, and I don't know if you guys can see it clearly, but instead of them texting in, all they need to do is to plug in their cell phone number there, and once it's plugged in, a text message will be sent to their phone as if they texted in. So that's just a neat little widget that you could add to your mobile fundraising solution to complement it. It's actually pretty cool. Collect data for donation reminder. That's actually pretty big. A lot of organization, and I'll go through some of the types of mobile fundraising solution there is, but a lot of the organization, the biggest goal is to be able to collect data, right, to cultivate that donor base for future asks, and that's very important. So you want to make sure you guys are always promoting stuff like that. And here's just a sign of one of our clients that are using it to collect data for donation reminder. So marketing. So I think this is the next segment of this presentation. I think this is the one of the important things that I wanted to go over with everybody on the call today. You know, Dave went over this, Dick went over this, as far as being able to promote it right and promoting it with the right person and having the right person making the ask and all that stuff. All of those are great. But here I just want to show you guys some real-world examples of marketing materials that other organizations have used. It varies from posters to pamphlets to booklets to all sorts of stuff. So I just wanted to share this with you guys and hopefully create that aha moment for you guys to take away from this presentation. So website, I think this is something that we've shown you guys earlier. A handout card. A handout card is as simple as having a business card size handout that you guys give away that has simple instructions on how to make a donation. If you could see, a lot of these marketing materials that I'm going to be showing you guys use great images that help sell the story or the mission of the campaign. Social media, Dave did a great job and he went over that already with you guys. Facebook and web widget. Similar to what I just talked about in the web widget, we do have a Facebook widget also that works the same way. So everybody, if you guys have a strong following on Facebook, you guys are able to integrate a Facebook widget that allows you guys to accept donations through your Facebook account. Handouts, there's this handout here, but remember with handouts, you need to make sure that they're just not laying down on the counter somewhere where it's not being noticed. And just because you're handing them out doesn't necessarily mean that they'll get any action. So you want to make sure that the person that are handing them out are explaining to them that, hey, you know, this season we're on a mission to raise this much fund. Here's the information about it. Be sure to check it out. So it goes hand in hand with someone doing an act as well. Business cards, so make sure on your business cards, some organizations on their business card, they actually incorporate instructions on how to make donations for the organization or the foundation. Playbills, car wraps. I think I've only heard a few organizations that have done this, but that's actually not a bad idea. Coasters, keyword specific, text brain. I think it's very creative what our clients have come up with as far as their keywords when they want to do a campaign. So you want to be, you want to also give thought into your keywords because it has to be something that's memorable to your donors. Celebrity. I think I wanted to point out what Dave was, or reiterate what Dave mentioned earlier. A lot of times the clients, when they hear celebrity endorsement, they panic because, well, we don't really know any celebrity or anybody that could do this for us. But Dave is actually absolutely correct. When we say celebrity, doesn't necessarily mean, you know, the celebrities, TV celebrities or actors or actresses. It could be somebody that's well known in your organization, someone that people respect, that people believe in and people follow. Those are in their own life, their own little celebrity in the organization. Sponsorship, media, and again, I'll be sending out this presentation. My email is in the chat box. So if you guys want a copy of this, I'll just go through this quickly because we are running out of time here, and I want to get some Q&A before we end this. Emotion invoking. This is actually a really good piece. You want to make sure with any marketing tools that you use, if you have to go the route where you can't really talk to the people and you have to have the image sell this for you, you want to use a compelling image. You guys have seen those before on commercials where if they want you to donate to for something for the animal cause or for kids, for kid hunger and stuff like that. They use very compelling video that's very heartfelt to touch that emotion in the viewer. Or integrating it with other mobile services, adding games and quizzes and stuff like that. So I'll send this all out to you guys. The final segment is just a mobile option. I'll just quickly go through this. If you guys have more questions about this, feel free to just shoot me an email or Dave an email, or when you get a copy of this presentation, just feel free to reach out to us and we'll be more than happy to go over this with you. The first and most popular one is probably Mobile Give. This is the $5 and the $10 donation. Red Cross uses this a lot. It's very easy. The donor just texts in a keyword. Once they text in a keyword, they get a text back saying, hey, to receive a $10 donation or to give a $10 donation, $5 donation, reply yes. Once the donor replies yes, that $10 or $5 donation will be added onto their phone bill. Once it's paid, done. Very simple. Mobile Donate is very similar, except this one allows you to collect information, their name, email, phone number, address. This one is for more of those of you who want to cultivate donor base. Again, if you guys have more questions about this, just let us know. And Mobile Pledge, this one Dick went over with us perfectly today, where he said that they were able to collect donations and it was super easy for them to use because it's just a matter of them texting in what their pledges are, their name with their phone number, and ta-da, they are done. So I want to open it up for about 5-6 minutes here. Let's open it up for some questions. If you guys have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask them, or type it in the chat box on the bottom left or the bottom right. Also, if you want a copy of this presentation, our emails are below. It's in the chat box. It's Catherine at guidebysell.com or Dave at guidebysell.com. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them now.
Catherine, here's a message from Amber about what these services cost. Should I review that?
So if you want some, there is as far as the cost, yeah, sure, Dave.
Yeah, they range from about $500 for an event like a 30-day kind of use up to a couple $1,000s for a year's worth of usage. So think about $500 to a couple $1,000. So your return on investment has to, be $500 to a couple $1,000. That's what our services cost. I think that's what most of the other companies in the country that offer these kinds of services were all about, in the same ballpark. I think Give by Sale is a little cheaper, and but typically that's what you're looking at, between $500 and $2,000, based on how many months you need it for and what services you're using.
Correct. And the best way to get that information, Amber, is if you reach out after this. I'll reach out to you afterwards, and we could go over what event you're coming up for you, and we could go over that with you. I have a few people who said that they lost audio. If you did lose the audio, we sent an email out that has a call-in number. Do that. If not, like I said, we do try our best to record these. Once we have that available, we'll send it out, and hopefully you could listen into the last portion of this presentation. Any other questions there? How are donations received by organizations? So it depends on which solution you're referring to. If it's the mobile gift, which is the $5, $10 donation, you do receive that in the form of a check, I believe, on a monthly basis. If it's the mobile donate one where we process the payment for you, that does happen instantly. Well, instantly meaning we do process the payment through your merchant account, and it takes about 3 to 5 business days, so that goes directly into your bank account. And then the mobile pledge, that, as Dick mentioned to you guys earlier, it's a process where you guys process the payment and you guys have full control over collecting the information. Now, while we're waiting for all of these all of these questions to come in, if you guys have your cell phone and you guys want to see how this works, how a mobile fundraising works, what the screen would look like, what it looks like on your phone, if you have your cell phone, you go ahead and take it out. Let's do a quick little exercise here before we end this. If you have your cell phone out right now, go ahead and go to where you can create a new text message. You're going to text to the phone number 56512. And the message is going to be the word Henry. I'll go ahead and type this also in the chat box in case you missed my instruction. Oh, there you go. Someone did it for me already. Thank you. So that way you guys could get an idea of how this looks like on a mobile device. Okay, so right now, since I can't hear the phones ringing and all that stuff, you guys are on mute. What did you guys see? If you guys got the response back, text in the chat box. That way I know that you guys did it and that you guys got feedback or you got a response from the text. There you go. I just texted it myself and I got it. Awesome. Amber said that she got a screen to input the CC information. Yes, it happens instantly. Awesome. I got a message asking to complete my donation via the link. Yep, exactly. So there's a few more examples that you guys could kind of see. Our team is actually putting it on the screen right now in the chat box if you guys want to see another example. There's another one where you could text the word Jimmy to 20222, and that will give you guys a different, that would be for mobile gifts. The $5, $10 one, that's a great example as well. So if you want to try that, you could do that as well. So if there's no other questions, go ahead and try those little exercises that we showed you guys. Heather, she said that I got one saying that it will charge us. Exactly, yep. Exactly. Now, all of this is just remind you guys, these are all just samples that we're showing you. So unless you fill out that form, it won't charge you or your credit card or anything like that. These are just demos for you guys to view and look at to see it's an example. And if you guys want to share this with your colleagues and want them to see what it looks like, feel free to give them the same instructions or keywords, Jimmy to 20222 or Henry to 56512, and that way they could view it on their mobile device. Any other questions before I wrap this up? Okay, I don't think we have. Is pledge giving the only method of receiving donor information for future cultivation? We actually have a mobile donate as well. Mobile donate is the one that, if you tried the exercise that we did when you text in the word Henry, that does have it. This is mobile donate, where when you text in your keyword to 56512, you will get a link, or the donor will get a link to a form that they will then fill out that has the name, their email, their phone number, and all that information that they're filling out on that form will be stored on your back end. That allows you guys to collect it, to download it, to import it to your donor base, and to be able to cultivate that donor base data. Absolutely, you're welcome. Okay, so I'll go ahead and wrap this up now. Again, thank you so much, everybody, for being on this call. We do appreciate you guys joining us. Dick, if you're still on the call, thank you so much for being here and sharing your experience with us. David, thank you so much for being on this call and sharing your expertise with us.
Of course.
Thanks, everybody, for being here. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys on our next webinar.